Hello, Tim from Fairplay now on the 27th of September 2023. So not really any video or normal video from me yesterday, but I did put up that interview with Carol from Birmingham City Council on here last night. She's got some very interesting tales to tell about that particular organisation and what it's like working for them, especially if you think about things the way we do. So that was interesting, and if you haven't seen it, just check out my other videos on here and you'll soon come across that one. Now, I've also put on my Rumble site yesterday the latest from the Uprise Shine event that I attended at the start of the month. I had a little bit of a break from doing those videos because of everything else I've been doing, but I'm back on that now, and I've got the talk by a guy called Andy Thomas, who is a very interesting guy. A bit more about him in a minute, but his video is up on my Rumble channel right now. I'll leave a link to it in the description box below so you can go and check that out. And I'm just putting the finishing touches on Mark Devlin's talk. He was the last speaker on Saturday, so once I've finished his one, I'm kind of pretty much through Saturday, and then I've just got one more day's worth of videos to do on the Uprise and Shine, and then I'm up to date on that as well. So hopefully by the time you come to see this, if you watch it later on this evening, maybe sort of 9 or 10 o'clock, his video will be on my Rumble channel. I might actually try and put it on this platform as well, because I don't think he really says anything that this platform would give me a strike for. So hopefully I can put it on this platform as well. So do be on the lookout for that. So yeah, I'm just catching up with everything after my time off and all of the other things I've been doing. So I'm pretty much up to date on my emails, unless you've emailed me only in the last few hours during the course of the day. I'm up to date on my voice messages for my work and my jobs. I've got sort of quite a bit of work booked in, so I'm going to be catching up on that, and rapidly catching up on the various editing bits and pieces. And as we go into autumn, which we're getting towards the end of September here, aren't we? And we're going to be moving into autumn, really. I suppose October in this country is definitely an autumnal month, so we are going to be moving into that. And I've got some quite exciting things planned for the channel. I'm going to be doing a variety of interviews over the next few months, and some more events I'll be attending and filming as well. So it looks like the autumn is shaping up to being just as busy as the summer's been, really. So back to Andy Thomas. You may have heard of him, you may not have heard of him, but if you like people like Mark Devlin, Fergus O'Connor Greenwood, you'll like Andy Thomas. He's written a couple of books. One's called Conspiracies, which is a real kind of does what it says on the tin type of title. Talks all about the various conspiracy theories. And his other book is called The New Heretics, which is his later book. The Conspiracies book, which I read at the start of the year, kind of only goes up to, prior to the nonsense starting in 2020. I think it goes up to almost there, but not quite. But The New Heretics, I think, comes up right up almost to the present day. So I haven't read that one yet, but I'm looking forward to it. But his talk, which as I say, is on Rumble, is really interesting, and it's really like the history of conspiracy theories, I suppose you can call it that. He starts off by talking about Nero and Rome and the fire that happened in Rome during Nero's reign, and how people think it was him who actually set that city on fire, sort of created that fire, because basically Rome wasn't built in the way he wanted it to be built. He wanted quite large swathes of that city rebuilt in a fashion that he wanted. So lo and behold, this fire suddenly pops up and destroys half the city or whatever it was, and he gets his wishes and is able to rebuild Rome in the way he wanted it. So he goes all the way back to Roman times and then works his way through loads of different things, all the way through medieval times, and he talks about Elizabeth I and Guy Fawkes and the Gunpowder Plot, and how that perhaps wasn't quite as it would seem, how that might have been a sort of a very old psyop, something that the government of the day actually let happen, or almost let happen, for their own ends. So that is very interesting. And yeah, he works all the way through all of the kind of normal 20th and early 21st century sort of conspiracy theories as well. So a very, very interesting talk, and I can recommend his books as well. And he does present in a, what I'd say is a very entertaining, lively way. So you certainly won't be bored with Andy and his talks. So one point, a takeaway point that I took from his talk as I watched it originally and as I was editing it, is he talks about what he terms as the dangerous shrug, and it's this habit that people have got, not necessarily the likes of you and me, but the likes of society in general, where no matter how much evidence is presented that things really didn't go along the way that the mainstream narrative would have you believe, you can give people all the evidence that says something like, let's take the Kennedy assassination, that's not how it happened the way they'll tell you. It wasn't just Lee Harvey Oswald. There's so much evidence around that there was shenanigans afoot, and that there was, let's say, more than one person involved with that particular event. And you can sort of show people evidence, look at this, and people, by and large, all they'll do is sort of just shrug. Well, it's all in the past now. You're talking about events that happened 60 years ago. What's the point dredging all of this up now and going on about it? It's pointless. It's just one of those things that happened. Oh well. And that is what people tend to do, isn't it? And the reason why we shouldn't be doing that is purely and simply because the powers that shouldn't be will just think, oh well, we got away with that and that and that. Well, we'll just do it again, and we'll just keep doing it. We'll do another huge psyop sort of in a couple of years' time, and then we'll do another one in a decade after that or whatever, and we'll just carry on doing it. But the more of us who awaken to all of this kind of nonsense and call it out and start digging, or continue digging until things like the real things behind events like the Kennedy assassination comes out, the more we kind of paint the powers that shouldn't be into a corner, and the less likely they are to sort of do a future kind of thing like this, or if they do try it on again, the less likely they are going to be to get away with it. Because the next one, if they do try it on again, there's just going to be so many eyes looking, so many people looking at every single last little detail, and they're just not going to get away with it. And I think that's why, you've got the likes of Mariana Spring in this country, and the BBC and their well, I like to call it the vilify thing, but it's called BBC Verify. I like to call it BBC Vilify because that's more apt. Because it is all about vilifying people who just don't want to take the word of the mainstream media and the mainstream narrative. They want to dig a bit further, they want to dig a bit deeper, uncover some things that they don't want you to uncover, and to talk about them online. And they're only doing that because, as Andy will say in his talk, there's more and more and more and more people who are waking up to all of this sort of stuff now. The likes of you and me, we're no longer just a tiny crazy fringe, where there's a lot of us around now, and that is why the likes of the BBC and the government and all of these social media platforms are trying to do these initiatives where they're stifling our voices, because frankly they're getting worried. That is what it boils down to. So yeah, I thought there were some very good points raised in that talk, and what I'll do is, this video is getting up to the kind of time I like to have them at, so well, I'm going to leave it there, let you go and check out Andy's talk. He does talk for about an hour and a half, but it's well worth watching the whole lot. You'll be very well entertained, and you'll have your eyes opened, and yeah, I highly recommend it, basically. So link to that in the description box below, and I'm going to leave it there. Back soon. Tim from Fair Play Now. Thanks for watching.